Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Self-Achievement Network. My name is Domenic, and I am the host. And today I have with me in the background here, just a minute, her name is Leah Recor. And according to her Facebook profile, there she is. She's in the background. Just give me 1 minute to finish my announcement. She is she's a seeker of truth. Seeker of love and truth, and founder of the Abundant Parent and Little Legacies. It's an organization and .org, and she is really amazing. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Welcome to all of you. For those of you who don't know what the Self-Achievement Network is about, or haven't been here or seen what we're about before, we are about giving people the opportunity to share their passion and to discover their passion, very simply. Like Leah, I discovered her, I had a chat with her, she told me about her passion, what she does, what she loves to do, a little bit about how it all came about, and I'm like, would you be on my program? It's called The Person Behind the Passion, right? So we're gonna find out a little bit about what makes her tick. Who is she? Who is this woman? I mean, we'll find out what she does, but we want to know a little bit more about what she does. So we give people that opportunity, and we also know that there are some people that that have their passion worked out. There are people that have their passion in their head; they're still working on their plans, and there are people that don't know yet, or they have some idea, but they don't know how to get it going. And that's where I come in. My specialty is in helping people to create a life plan, and that's my program. It's called Life Plan 2.0, and it's up online. If you want to know anything about it, you go to the search bar, wherever it is, down there, over there, wherever, and you type in Life Plan 2.0, and you'll see. If you have any questions about it, you can ask. You can private message me and ask me questions, but it's a program that I do. And so Leah, she's in the background, and we're going to bring her on. We've got lots of people that support this network and lots of people that are on. She's saying thank you, and thank you. Let me just push the button here and bring her up on camera. The magic with this woman, Leah Recor. She's out in Denver, Colorado, and I am in the deep south side of Chicago, actually called Northwest Indiana. And Northwest Indiana is kind of like, here she comes.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leah Recor.
Hi, Domenic. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thank you for being on. Wow, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're such a Denver person.
I actually divide my time between Denver and Iowa. So right now I'm actually in Marion, Iowa, and we had.
Oh, you're in Iowa.
So I'm in Iowa right now, but I bounce back and forth, so I can't even keep track of myself. So I don't expect anybody else to.
What are you doing in Iowa?
Well, I divide my time there. Iowa is really more the place that's more in alignment for where I want to be. It's where my business actually flourishes more. It's where my community is. It's where my support system is. But as you guys may uncover as we talk a little bit more, but I've been divorced, and so my ex-husband and my kids and all of that, I have to be in Denver also. So I make the best of it, and I just I try to be where my heart feels good and try not to judge it too much. Just roll with it.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, you make it work. That's great. And I just want to make mention that our mutual friend, Julia Bresner, she's the one that nominated you. You want to say something to her?
Absolutely. Well, Julia was actually my very first guest on my Abundant Parent Community Workshops, where I bring in experts in their field to talk about what they do and how what they do can really bring in empowering tools to parents and help them really feel good and connect with their kids best. And I wanted Julia to be my first guest because she is so amazing in her own right. She is so well spoken. She knows her trade, her craft so well, which is teaching people to have a healthy relationship with food and eating to feel good and eating to have good energy. And so she was my very first guest on my workshops. So I thought it was so kind of her. We've had such a lovely friendship that's blossomed from working together, and I just admire her so much. So thanks, Julia.
Yes, thank you, Julia. I've had her on. She's
Mhm.
great. And she is super passionate about what she does.
Yes.
She's all over Instagram and Facebook, and she does yeah, she does it all. She's great. Creates a lot of results with people. So if you guys, I'll tag her later on. She's been tagged in the announcement. So yeah, so thank you for being our person behind the passion and for being with us. Tell us about your passion. I'm just reading off my little cue card here that says Little Legacies, The Abundant Parent. You have a book also.
Well, the book.
What is this whole thing
The
about?
book is in process because, writing the book, everything was so in alignment. Editing the book is like pulling hair. It's like, I know. But the book is probably to be released in the next month or two, so it's close. And then I participate in a lot of collaborative books as well. I love writing. You'll see that a lot in my posts on Facebook and Instagram. And writing is something that I feel like I'm much better writer than I am speaker, and I feel like I can communicate what I have to say so much better with the written word. So I have a tendency to really expand on my thoughts much more completely when I'm blogging and writing. And so yeah, so I do have a book it's in the works, and I've been in a couple collaborative projects.
That's crazy. That's great. Writing is tough. I've got one book that I've got published on Amazon, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to write a book. It's like it took a long time, and I'm like, oh, I need to add this. And then after I finished doing it, everybody's like, no, you should make it really short, and you should have had a coach, and you should have done this, and you should have done that. Well, whatever.
Then the other thing that cracks me up is it seems like it's the people. There was just a quote that Lewis Howes posted today, and it was something along the lines of, the people that are judging the work that you're doing are the ones that are not actually doing themselves. So you always have to just be proud of yourself for taking the action and actually showing up and doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. So, the abundant life, Little Legacies. What is the passion behind that? What does all that mean?
Sure. Well,
how did it all come out?
Sure. Well, you'll hear all the time about how life is a journey, and that you shouldn't focus too much on the final destination, because life is a journey. But I think sometimes when you're having really, really hard times, you get really focused on where you wish your life was instead of where it is in the present moment. And it was through a lot of hardship in my own life that I came to realize that my life truly was about the journey. And if I wasn't enjoying the day to day, then who's to say that I wouldn't actually be enjoying myself by the time I reach this glorious, magical destination that actually doesn't exist? Because once you reach that destination, there's more things that you're wanting to achieve and more things that you're wanting to grow.
Exactly.
And going through hard times is, it's often that peace that awakens us. It's often that peace that grows us. But sometimes we're not ready to see it when we're in that place where we're so struggling and grappling with those feelings of, am I ever going to feel better? Am I ever going to get through this? Will things ever stop feeling as bad as they do right now? And I had a major shift in my perspective when I was going through my divorce. And what I came to realize was that it didn't matter what anybody else thought of me. It didn't matter what the expectations of what a single mom should do. I got a lot of feedback when I decided to break free and start my own business that I should be just doing an office job and starting to make income so I could have really reliable income and I could have insurance. But what ended up happening is I discovered really quickly that working the job that was socially acceptable for a single mom wasn't going to actually allow me to ever grow as a person, to ever grow my career. So I took a huge leap of faith. I just kind of put my arms out and did like one of those trust falls with the universe. And I just said, I'm just going to continue to listen to my intuition. I'm going to continue to lean into what feels good. I'm going to trust that the universe or God or whatever you feel comfortable calling that greater energetic power of love that exists in the world, I'm just going to allow that to guide me. And I'm just going to trust that by continuing to use that driving force of love, that I'm going to end up exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I kind of came to this whole huge perspective by discovering the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks when I was going through my divorce. And everything that Abraham Hicks said, every single message felt like it was being spoken directly to me. And I was doing massive head nods every time I would listen
You and
to
about
him.
a million, thousand, 100 million and other people.
Yep.
Yeah, she's quite amazing. Yeah.
And I just began to think, that was about the same time I created Little Legacies with my co-founder. And we bring writing workshops to kids that have life-altering conditions. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes it's, things like PTSD when they've experienced trauma. Sometimes it's intellectual disability. Sometimes they're fighting terminal diseases. But by giving kids writing prompts and doing writing workshops with them, we were providing this platform where they were really able to tap into the really deeper inner thoughts and create something that was just for them. Because how often do we end up creating things that other people are reading? We're creating things for other people to read, or like, especially for kids in school. So I created that as part of what I was going through, because I really wanted everybody to have that opportunity to tap into deeper thought and really expand and create hope through what they were able to express through words. And then similarly with the Abundant Parent, I'm helping parents, but I'm also helping them create really empowered kids who are in alignment, that know their own power to create a really amazing, impactful reality for themselves. And so by coming to understand the law of attraction and our own ability to really understand the energetic work in our lives and to use quantum physics to attract that same energy into our lives, I thought, wow, if I can learn so much at almost 40 years old and make such a huge life change, imagine what kids could do if they knew this from the very beginning. And so that was the Abundant Parent.
Wow. That is really, truly incredible.
Thank you. Thanks.
And it's a huge contribution. I had someone on yesterday, and she teaches kids how to be healthy with, with food.
Yes.
And it's just like, it's so important to help these children out, our children out. They're, and so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What a wild, crazy journey.
Well, my thought is that even if you're just impacting one person a day, one person at a time, you're still making an impact. You don't have to be Oprah or any of these really big people.
Exactly.
If every single one of us made an effort to help one person a day in a big or small way, imagine how much different the world would be.
You think, right, exactly. Yeah. And I think that it's a growing number, which is really, what's that word?
Inspiring?
It's inspiring, it's just like all those words above. Yeah, but there's more and more people. I mean, I don't have enough time to do what I am doing, It's just, there's so many more people than I ever thought that are involved in not just children, but in support of adults and, the whole thing. So there's a lot going on out there. So where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Connecticut, and then my mom raised me by herself in Littleton, which is just outside Denver, Colorado. And then I lived in Iowa when I was in high school. And then I ended up going to college in Denver, and that's actually when I lost my mom, was in my senior year of college. And then at that time, I didn't really have an anchor. So I moved to Los Angeles, and I ended up living in Los Angeles for 13 years after I graduated college.
Oh, wow.
So I've just kind of been like coast to coast.
One side and then the other side. That's wild.
It is.
And you studied what in college?
It's completely unrelated to what I'm doing now.
Of course, that's like the other 99%.
Exactly. No, I studied art history, which actually I have found that all of my experiences in my life have all kind of come full circle to what I'm doing now, and they're all playing a part in a really unexpected way. Like I studied art history, and through that, through learning so much about religion when you're studying art history, it really opened the floodgates for me to trying to have a deeper understanding of world religion, because growing up in the United States, it's largely just Christian. But I came to really question Christian history and come to really understand and respect a lot of different religions. And it's playing a huge part in what I'm teaching now, of course, because there's such a strong spiritual aspect to the law of attraction. And then I also was a major for a while, but then a minor in musical theater and theater. So that, of course, is playing a role too, because now I'm having to be comfortable with being on camera, which still didn't come easy. It was still like really uncomfortable, really outside of my comfort level. But
I know this feeling.
oh my gosh.
Great.
But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So Little Legacies, I know you have a couple of little people in your life.
I do.
And you also have a co-founders. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my kids, of course, are my life. They're my everything. I went through fertility treatments for a really long time before I was able to conceive my first daughter. And then I had a lot of miscarriages in between my two girls. And so I was really in prime condition to be a helicopter mom and to protect my kids from everything. So I was feeding them organic. I was making sure that only natural products touched their skin, and they had all the right baby mommy and me classes. And going through my divorce and having to experience two very different parenting styles, where one week my children were experiencing one parenting style, and the next week they were experiencing something very, very different. It was a great, great gift for me, because it allowed me to really let go of my perception of control over my kids and their lives. And I've really been able to become a guide for them instead of their boss, and really teaching them to explore all of these ideas and this purpose that they were born with, and just really help guide them to understand that instead of just perpetuating the social conditions that kids experience anyway, with school and peer dynamics and media. And it's been a gift that I never anticipated, but I'm really grateful for now. And then my co-founder, she doesn't have kids, but she's an amazing photographer. Everybody go check her out. She's Kim Denver. She actually still helps me quite a bit by helping me do photography for my abundant parent stuff. And we're a really great mix with the Little Legacies, because she really helps with the behind the scenes, the fundraising, the keeping our social media up and making everything look really, really pretty. And then I get to do what I love so much, which is to create the writing prompts, because I love writing so much, and then to work with the kids to do the writing prompts and stuff. So we're very, very different, but it's a really beautiful connection.
And her name is?
Her name's Kim Denver. She lives in Denver, but her name is actually
Kim
Denver.
From Denver. Wow. Well, that's cool.
Yes.
So make sure you put the link in there, so we can
under here.
So that she gets it.
Okay.
Yeah. When after we hang up, it's all good.
Okay.
So wow. So you then you ended up originally in Iowa, but then in Denver. That didn't quite get the connection there. So
So I lived in Iowa in high school, and then my mom, she had cancer off and on my entire childhood. So her cancer had metastasized again in her bones when we were living in Iowa. And since all of her previous caretakers and treatment for her cancer had been in Denver, we decided to move back, so there could be some familiarity with her case history and all that. So we ended up moving back to Denver when her cancer came back. And then she really that's when it was like the downturn for her cancer. And so she just continued to having to treat it as it kept popping up in different places until, I guess it would have been 4 years later when I graduated college. Well, right before I graduated college. So that was the connection going back to Denver. And then my ex-husband also has family and connections. He grew up part of the time in Colorado. So that's why when I met him in Los Angeles and we had kids and we didn't want to raise the next Lindsay Lohan, we decided to come back to Denver to raise our kids.
Okay, that makes sense. So there's the abundant parent, and then there's Little Legacies. What are some of the things that you do with those? So
with Little Legacies, we bring writing workshops into groups of kids, and then we also do one-on-one writing with kids. So for example, kids who are fighting terminal illness, they are less likely to be able to come and join a group writing workshop. So we'll come in and we'll
Right.
sit one-on-one with them and visit with them and find out what their passions are, what interests them, and then kind of create writing workshops to help inspire them. Something else that we do, but not as often, because a child's end of life is very, very dear to their family. And so they want to have all the time that they can with them, understandably. But we do offer the service of helping the children write legacy letters that they can leave behind to their peers, to their
Wow.
family. And it's become a really beautiful, beautiful thing, because the
Wow.
children possess so much wisdom. As I mentioned before, children come into this world with their own purpose, with their own ideas. And it's really moving and amazing to me, this understanding that they have, even their very punctuated lifeline, this understanding they've come to have in their life and what they want to share with others before they go. And I can't remember what was the other part of your question. Did I?
Well, just, what do you do with those?
Okay.
So Little Legacies, you're doing the writing classes.
So I'm doing the writing classes. We work with
Yeah.
a place in Iowa called Tanager Place that helps kids who've been through trauma and really hard times. They have inpatient care for kids, and the kids will live there for a couple months at a time. And I'll bring in writing workshops for them. They all get a journal where they get to write during the writing workshop, and then Kim and I help them have writing prompts that they can take home with them, or either when they're released, actually home, or just to do while they're still
story.
So they can continue their story. The kids there are amazing. They it's amazing to me, even given all the trauma and hard times that they've been through, how focused they'll be when I come in and we sit and we do writing workshops together. It's something that, knowing that it's not for a homework assignment and knowing that it's just for them, it's amazing how much more it resonates for them. So we work with Tanager Place. We've done writing workshops for summer camps for kids with the American Diabetes Association. So, diabetes is another one that you really underestimate how impactful that disease can be for kids, because it's so common. You hear about it so much. And so you kind of, it's just diabetes. But for these kids, I mean, they're faced with their own mortality. They're having to, in some cases, watch other brothers and sisters who also have diabetes have really scary health scares, and it's really life altering for them. And so these writing workshops just really help them connect with all of these deeper stories within themselves. And then,
and what are
go ahead.
The age ranges?
Ranges. Typically, it's kids who are 7 and up. They're really writing independently pretty strongly. But I know sometimes, like when we do the American Diabetes summer camps, sometimes there's younger kids. And so we'll just have them draw pictures. If they're not writing independently yet, we'll have them draw pictures. Sometimes they'll add just a few words themselves on the picture, but they'll draw the writing prompt as opposed to writing it with words. But most of the time it's kids who are independently writing. And it's also something that kids who are tweens or teens, they can kind of be drawn to writing organically without having an organization like ours. But we find that they also really love having the writing prompts to kind of push them out of their normal line of thinking.
Okay. Wow, that's how much of your time do you spend doing that?
I would say the majority of my time is spent doing the Abundant Parent.
Okay.
But I would say maybe 20% of my time is spent doing the Little Legacies. I really, even though it's my own nonprofit, it is volunteering, and I believe very, very strongly in giving back to the world. I feel not only compelled to do it from an intuitive standpoint, but also law of attraction wise, energetically, it's so important to put that love out into the world and to want to elevate everyone else, because it all comes back to you. It all comes back to you.
And so the Abundant Parent, and how does that tie in?
So they are very separate, but there are some beautiful overlaps in that. I'm still helping children. I find that I do a lot of prompting parents to think about bigger issues through what I share. So there's some overlap there. But with the Abundant Parent, I also do videos every week specifically about the law of attraction on my YouTube channel, where I teach parents to consider the science of quantum physics and the law of attraction, and how they are not only mirroring, or their children are not only mirroring their behaviors. So you don't have to say a word to your child to be teaching them habits. But then also that there's this amazing energy at work in our lives, and we can harness that, and we can use that to be powerful creators in our own rights, and our children can do that too. So I release a new video every week about the law of attraction for parents. I host workshops every month where I bring in experts in their field to talk about tools that can really help parents connect better with their kids. It can help parents to tend to their own self-care needs much better, so they can be the best parent they can be for their kids. And to consider tools that might seem a little bit more outside of the parenting box, but in really surprising ways can actually really elevate the parenting experience as well. Like, I recently had somebody on that taught parents how to use tarot as a tool for kids to really explore their intuition. So,
really?
And then
That's
it is. And then I host, and then I just host workshops live on my Facebook group. Like, I'm having one tomorrow that's teaching parents, everybody's doing the vision boards right now. So it's going to, so it's going to teach parents how to take what they've already created, or take their goal list, and actually use aligned intuitive action to actually make it happen, instead of just being a pretty picture that's like sitting up on their fridge or
that's cool.
I teach
workshops. Well, my wife's got one hanging by her
There
wall.
you go. She needs intuitive action to make that business happen.
Right. And she does.
Yeah.
She I don't know. I'm not a vision board kind of a person. I've never done it, so I can't really talk about it. Right. I'm a mind mapping kind of a person.
Oh, sure.
So, it's just different. So you're busy all the time. How do you keep it together? I mean, come on, you got the girls, you've got, all these different things happening. It's like,
well, we were just talking about that aligned, inspired action. And I think that, and you probably feel this as well with your self-achievement network and everything that you're doing. Yeah. But when you feel inspired and it's in alignment with when you kind of feel aligned and inspired, and you come to realize that this might actually be the meaning of life, like your purpose in life, it stops feeling like work. It just feels fun, and it just feels exciting, and it doesn't feel like this drudgery of going to the office and
right.
So there's a lot of that that's happening. I'm so excited about everything that I'm doing that I'm just kind of ping-ponging around and getting it all done, and sometimes it's not organized at all. Sometimes it's somewhat of a disaster, but I just keep trudging along.
Okay, we're about at the 30-minute mark. I just have a couple of other questions that I was wondering about. So, like, what do you do in your spare time? I mean, do you have spare time?
I mean, I do.
Are you a reader?
I do.
Are you a writer? Are you a reader?
I am.
Books?
So I drive back and forth between Denver and Iowa a lot, which is kind of forced respite, because I can't be writing when I'm driving, and I can't be really like answering text messages. And I mean, I could, but I'd be like swerving all over the road. And so it's kind of this forced respite where I get to listen to audiobooks, and sometimes I just have quiet time where I'm just kind of considering my path and where I'm going and bigger ideas. And I love getting outdoors. I talk about actually being outdoors a lot, and how it really helps you ground yourself, feel more connected not only to nature, but your own intuition, and help your kids feel more grounded. So I love going out and camping and hiking. Obviously, I'm not doing that right now because it's cold out. but even yesterday, I went for a hike outside, a short hike for like, I don't know, an hour. But it's something I absolutely thrive on is being outdoors. And then
happy place. Is the beach? Is mountains, or is it the woods?
It's the woods and the mountains for sure. Even when I lived in Los Angeles, I would go. My favorite time to be out on the beach was actually the winter time, when I had on like my sweater and my scarf and my boots. But then my I consider the time that I spend with my kids to be my spare time. I make sure that I'm working like a dog when I don't have my kids. But then when my kids are home from school or my kids are home for the weekend, we do stuff together. And it's stuff that I enjoy doing. We have conversations about what we all enjoy doing together. We do a lot of crafts and cooking together, and it just
great.
kind of refuels me.
Yeah. Okay, so this show's called The Person Behind the Passion, right? So best habits, worst habits. I mean, things that you like love to do and like things that you're like, I need to stop doing.
Oh my gosh. That is
Put
a
you on the
loaded
spot.
question. um, well, let's see. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate.
But procrastination can be good.
Well, absolutely. And the other key is, like, if you listen to Abraham Hicks and these other people that talk about the law of attraction, is procrastination is your intuition's way of saying that you're not in alignment with what you're doing. And I could not agree more. Whenever it's something I don't want to do, it is procrastination city. I just don't really get around to it in a timely manner.
So you're a normal person.
If I don't want to do something, it gets pushed off until the end. I do make a point of having to-do lists because it really helps me check off the lists of what I need to get done. But yeah, I'm a big procrastinator if it's not in alignment with what I feel like doing.
Yeah, but if you have a bad habit, right, and you procrastinate the bad habit, then procrastination isn't bad.
True. I'm going to go with that.
Go with it because it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are some of the like big life questions, like people that you have you've mentioned Abraham Hicks, but other people in your life that have been maybe mentors or some teacher guide or whatever for you?
Well, I would say there's a lot of people on Hay House Radio that really inspired me in the beginning. There's a gentleman that I absolutely love watching on YouTube. I think he's quite a bit younger than I, so I try not to judge him in his youth, but he has a lot of really great things to say. So I try to accept that I can absolutely learn from people who are younger than I am. His name is Aaron Doughty, Doughty. And he really explores some really cool concepts about manifestation, law of attraction, energy in the universe, that life may perhaps be a virtual reality experience for our souls. I really enjoy his videos, and that he's always reading, always growing, always exploring. So I enjoy his channel a lot. I listen to him quite a bit. Oprah Super Soul Sunday. Oh my gosh. So many amazing minds on there. I watch that quite a bit. And then just in my personal life, my daughters, absolutely. They've taught me so much about life. Children have this amazing way of just breaking it all down to the most simplest ideas, and they're always so right. They're always so right. My oldest daughter, from the very beginning when I was going through my divorce process, she helped me see that my life could be, that I had so much more to offer, that I deserved loving respect, and she taught me that. So
sweet. Yep. Very sweet. If I was a 23-year-old young lady and I walked up to you and said, I saw that video and you inspire me so much. I have some things in my mind that I really want to do with my life. Give me some advice. What should I do? What would you tell a 23, 24-year-old?
Well, I'd probably give her some Abraham Hicks
30
advice.
30 seconds or less.
Right. I'd probably give her some Abraham Hicks advice, and I'd say you have to find what feels good, and you have to lean into that. You're going to be the most successful if you are feeling good with what you're doing. And don't be afraid what other people think, because we all have our own individual purpose and ideas.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Great. What about your what's it called? Your music list. It's called a oh gosh.
Oh, my playlist?
You have your playlist. Thank you. What are some of the some of the songs on your playlist?
Oh gosh, well, I'm a big fan of old music actually. So I love like Billie Holiday and some of the old crooners from the 40s and 50s. But
Okay.
then I also listen to a lot of the binaural beats music that you can find on YouTube. And if you type in binaural beats and then you put in specifically what you want, like when I'm working on my book, I type in binaural beats concentration, and it's just kind of, you're supposed to wear headphones with it because it rotates which side of your head you
Right.
hear the music. And it's really great music to play in the background also if you're meditating and that kind of stuff. But it really helps me focus on my work. So I actually listen to those a lot, and it kind of chills me out and gets me in the zone. What else? I love listening to covers of popular music done by unlikely performers, either in like swing styles or hillbilly
Yeah.
styles or acoustic. So I like to hear popular music done in new ways. So I listen to a lot of that also. I'm
Oh,
all over the
that's
place.
great. You know, a lot of people are all over the place, and there's usually like, you know, one or two genres that people like go to. So that's
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on. I would love to have you back on.
Thank you. Thank
Please
you so
say
much for
yes.
having me. Yes, I'd love to be on. Thank you for having me. I really
There's
appreciate it.
so, I mean, I have a million and one questions, and I'm sure that there's people out there that are the same way, like, wow, this woman is so intriguing.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, so let's come up with an idea,
Okay.
and you know, let's do it again, something a little more specific, or maybe I don't know. I mean, let's just think about it. So make sure you have a YouTube channel. If you'll send me the link to
Sure.
that, and I'll add it to the top of the feed after we hang up, and make sure that people can go and check you out, and any other links that you have that are, you think that are important. And in addition to that, let's say that somebody watches this next week and there's a question, you know, Leah, whatever, and if they type this into the feed, right?
Mhm.
You'll get a notification. Were you willing to kind of
Absolutely.
monitor that?
I get a heap of notifications on my social media.
Yeah,
So just make sure that if you guys are going to ask me questions in the comments below, make sure that I am definitely tagged in the question so it'll pop up in my
great.
notifications. Otherwise, it could very
Yeah,
easily just slip past me.
that's important.
Yeah,
Got to tag the people you want to talk to. Otherwise, you know, it goes bye-bye.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, I'm kind of all over. So regardless of what your preferred social media is, you'll probably find me there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. My handle's just a little bit different. I'm just Abundant Parent. Everywhere else, I'm the Abundant Parent. But I'm
Okay.
kind of around. So wherever you're comfortable finding content, I'm there. So feel free to give me a follow. I'd appreciate it also. I really appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With all your friends, family, and fans that are watching or will watch later, what would you like to say to them?
Just thank you guys all so much for there was a lot of non-believers. So for everybody who's here, thank you for believing in me and always showing up, always supporting me, always sharing my posts and liking them. It means more to me than you could ever know.
Wow, that's great. You are wonderful. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dominic. I appreciate it.
Kind-hearted. You got it all going on.
Thanks.
Thank you again so much. We'll have you on
Sounds
again,
good.
and have a wonderful rest of your
Thanks, you
day.
do the same. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thanks everyone for watching.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye, Leah.